Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayom Diraye. Nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Bhagavate Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naischiki. Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Namo Pankajanabhaya Namo Pankajamaline Namo Pankajanetraya Namaste Pankajangri. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate. Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari. Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Namo Yom Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Gnananjanashalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Vancha kalpataru bhayasya kripa sindhu bhayevacha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda ki jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Vartaman Guru Vrinda ki jai. Zona Jabata Swami Guru Maharaj ki jai. Hi Krishna, dear devotees. So let's get back to our subject. So yesterday we completed the first 5 to 6 chapters of the 5th canto. To give a little recap, yesterday we spoke about the dynasty of Swayambhu Manu, and then we were discussing how in different cantos we got a glimpse of the different kings that were born in that dynasty and how wonderfully they went back home, back to Godhead, including whether it was Anga or Prithu Maharaj or Prachetas or Dhruva Maharaj. It was all very wonderful. And then we discussed that how when the lineage stopped at Prachetas because Daksha went for doing austerities, then how Swayambhu Manu, Brahma and Narada, they were all here with Priyavrata at the Gandhamadana hills, and then Brahma convinced Priyavrata Maharaj to stop his austerities, tapasya, and come back to rule the kingdom. So that's what we discussed in the first chapter, and then how Priyavrata very humbly, submissively accepted the superior authority, though he wanted to continue his Priya Vrata, his dear vow. And then how he ruled the kingdom wonderfully. He had many children, many wives, and finally when the right time came, he retired. And then second chapter we discussed on King Agnidhara, who was one of the sons, the eldest son of Bharata Maharaj, and how he was also an amazing king, and how even he performed austerities at Mount Mandara, and then he married Purvachiti, and then when the right time came, even he retired. But the only difference was that because of his attachment to Purvachiti, instead of going back home, back to Godhead, he went to her Loka. So then we also discussed on length that how temporary distractions can cause a long-term result or a long-term issue. Then the chapter 3 we discussed that how Agnidhara's son Nabhi married Meru Devi, and he and his wife, they also performed austerities, they did yajna, and then they could see the Supreme Personality of Godhead face to face, and finally the Lord agreed to come as their son. In chapter 4 we discussed about Rishabdev, how he appeared, how wonderful and saintly qualities he had. And in chapter 5 we discussed that Rishabdev had 100 wonderful sons. 9 of them became Navayogendras, 81 became Brahmanas, and the 10 sons became Kshatriyas, wonderful Kshatriyas, and out of them the eldest son was Bharata Maharaj. And in chapter 5 we discussed the very 5 important verses from the teachings of Rishabdev, which Srila Prabhupada has quoted more than 200 times in his classes, lectures, conversations and books. So we discussed that 5 important instructions out of the many instructions that Rishabdev gave to his glorious sons. And then we came to chapter 6, where there was a discussion about how Rishabdev, after handing over the kingdom to his glorious elder son Bharat, he lived a life of an avadhuta. So he went around cities and towns and villages naked, and whatever was given to him as bhiksha, he used to accept it. And he was living a very, very renounced life, and some of the people who misunderstood him chastised him, criticized him, insulted him, spitted on him, and did so many things. But he was so equipoised and he never got affected, and his only motive was that somehow or the other he was giving his auspicious darshan to people around. And then the end of the class we were discussing about this one king called Arahata in Karnataka. When he heard about Rishabdev's glories, he wanted to imitate Rishabdev. So he took up the principles and some things from Rishabdev, and then he mixed it with some other things, and then he mixed it with some other things, and he made his own new recipe of some kind of a concocted religion. He abandoned Varnashram Dharma, and he accepted this concocted religion which was made by him, and he derided the Vedas, and he followed this Andha Parampara, and as a result, Prabhupada says in the purport that that's how Jainism began. We stopped there, and at length we discussed about different lessons that we can learn as devotees in our day-to-day life by the behavior of both Bharata Maharaj and Agnidhara. Now today we are entering into the 7th chapter. So this is going to be very, very interesting, because how a emperor becomes a deer. And this is very interesting. So we'll start with the chapter 7, Canto 5, chapter 7, the activities of King Bharata. So what happens now? Bharata Maharaj is the eldest son of Rishabdev, and he is so amazing and he is so glorious that when he was giving instructions to his children, to his sons, he says, I am the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And when his sons asked that, you asked us to serve a Mahatma, so whom should we serve? So then he says, you serve your brother Bharata, he is a Mahatma. And in fact, Rishabdev also explains very beautifully what are the qualities of Mahatma. So finally the sons were also instructed to serve Bharata Maharaj. So now this Bharata Maharaj, who is now the hero of our chapter, is the real hero in sense that today that we are here in Bharatavarsha, this was named after him because he was so amazing and so glorious. So usually somebody is very famous, we see even in the political circle, then something is named behind him, a road is named behind him, or airport is named behind him, or a hospital is on his name. But here you see the whole planet is on his name. So such glorious person he must have been. So what happens now to King Bharata? He is a topmost devotee, a Mahabhagavata, and he was entrusted by Rishabdev to protect the planet Earth. He was ruling very nicely as his father had instructed. He got married to Panchajani, the daughter of Vishwarupa. And from there, he had 5 sons, and they were also very wonderful. And formerly this place was called Bharatavarsha, but after Bharat Maharaj's rule, it came to be known as Bharatavarsha. He was a very learned king, just like his father and grandfather. He was engaging not only himself, but even in his citizens in devotional service, and was treating them very wonderfully with great affection. He also performed a number of sacrifices for the welfare of the citizens. Of course, his consciousness was very different, because we may ask that you just said he is Mahabhagavatam, so why Mahabhagavata? So why is he performing karmakandi sacrifices? But his sacrifices were only to please Vasudev. His intention was only to please Vasudev. So then he was not an enjoyer. He was very pure. And day by day his bhakti was increasing. He was ruling the kingdom righteously. Now after long time, maybe some 10 crore years, he decides, okay, enough is enough. Now I should retire. So then he hands over the kingdom and all to his sons, and he says, now I need to go. So he goes to a very beautiful place. This place is still there in Nepal. The place is Pulaha, Pulaha, Pulatsya, and all these are very important sages. And you see in Bhagavatam and Mahabharata, in many places you will see that their names come up. So this Pulatsya Muni's ashram, or Pulaha and Pulatsya both are different, but they were together, and they had this very beautiful ashram in the banks of river Gandaki. Even till today you can see this very beautiful Gandaki river where we get all our Shaligram Shilas from. So he goes to this place, and then he starts his bhajan. And then, it's a very beautiful place. There is nobody around. He's all alone. He lived there all alone under a tree, a nice small kutia he made. And he was worshipping the Lord very wonderfully with various flowers and whatever was available. And he was doing a good job. And now what was he worshipping? The Shaligram Shila. There is no deity there. So he worshipped the Shaligram deity. Everything was wonderful. And the fact that he retires on his own voluntary, that's a very significant point, because if you are forcibly, things are taken away from you, that's a different question. But nobody is even asking you to retire. You can perpetually continue to enjoy, but you still voluntarily give up something that requires a metal. Otherwise, it's very difficult. Like, even in the material world, people retire not because, I'm just saying in the materialistic context, that people don't retire because, okay, now I have to do bhajan. They retire because the government doesn't allow you to work after 60. Or sometimes they retire because their body is not working anymore, or their physical strength is not that much to continue. But if their physical strength was wonderful, they wouldn't have voluntarily given up. They would have continue to enjoy their senses. But people are forced to retire either by the government or because of their physical health. In fact, I was just other day sharing with the devotees that once we went to this very beautiful place called Yadgiri Gutta in Telangana. There is a beautiful Nrsingadev temple. So we had gone there for some Rath Yatra program, and we had checked in a hotel just opposite the temple. And it was such a beautiful hotel because it was located so picturesquely. It was on the top of the hill. There were hundreds of monkeys, and right from our room we could see the Gopuram of the Yadgiri Gutta Nrsingadev temple. But we had to go for Rath Yatra, so we had just checked in, freshed up, and then we handed over the key at the reception and we said we are leaving. So by the time my husband was just coming out, the receptionist was asking me that, oh, I've never seen anybody check out so quickly, because these rooms are so picturesque and so beautiful that if the checkout time is 10 o'clock, people try if that at least another 15 minutes, at least another 1 hour, we can somehow stay back, up to 11 o'clock and enjoy this room. And how come you people have just come here, and some other devotees are also with us, and you just come here and within 1 hour you are, checking out. So I told her, actually we have a Rath Yatra just down the hill and devotees are waiting for us. So we are here to inaugurate the Rath Yatra. So when she said that to me, the whole day I was pondering in my mind that imagine even a hotel room, person want to enjoy to the fullest extent. If I have paid the money, why should I check out even 5 minutes earlier than my allotted time? And I was just wondering that how these kings could manage to check out from their palaces. It must have been such a big thing to do, because a normal beautiful hotel it's not even your own place, still people get so attached. And imagine your own palace and you are ruler of the planet Earth and you have the most beautiful wife and children around you, and then you are not even a normal citizen, you are a king. Every moment everybody is like glorifying you, and you can just you just clap and somebody will just come with whatever you want, but you still decide enough is enough and I want to pursue my Krishna consciousness. That is why they are in the pages of Bhagavatam. To do that kind of sacrifice is amazing. So he is ready now. He says, I need to go. So he comes here, and the beauty is, when he comes here also, he doesn't stop what he was doing when he was there. So like when he was in palace, he used to worship the Lord with beautiful flowers or whatever available according to his standard as a king. And the same thing he continued here, serving the Lord according to the standard which he was living now here. He didn't give reasons that actually, in the forest nothing is available, so maybe I will just do Manasi Puja. Whatever was available in the forest also, he tried his best to please the Lord. So the details are given, like, whatever he could find, some birds, some nice lata, some nice flowers, something, roots, some fruits, whatever he found. With love and affection and completely bhava, he was worshipping the Lord so beautifully. And what happened? Because of his one-pointed focus on the Lord and all, his heart started melting. He was getting more and more purified. And then his hair was standing at in his body out of joy. He was completely blissful. He was becoming so happy day by day. And his heart was like a lake filled with ecstatic love for the Lord. So everything was going on so happy in his life. His body was shining and he was looking so beautiful. He had this brown matted hair, and his hair was always wet because he's taking bath in the Gandaki river 3 times a day, worshipping the Lord, doing Abhishek. He's following everything, and such a golden effulgence was coming out from his body, and every day he was chanting different Vedic hymns. So things was happening very wonderfully in his life. With this, the chapter ends here, saying that Bharata Maharaj was having a wonderful time. Now comes a little twist in his wonderful life. We are coming to the chapter 8. So what happens here? So now everything is going on nicely. He's doing his Omkara mantra, and you can imagine that scene. There's a beautiful Gandaki river flowing. The birds are chirping. A beautiful cool breeze is blowing. There's greenery everywhere, and there is this beautiful sound of the moving, flowing water. And he's under a tree, and everything is very sattvic. His eyes are closed, and he's just doing his Omkara. And suddenly he hears a roar, a roar of a lion. And then he sees that, because of this big noise that the lion makes, there is this very a sweet looking doe or a deer drinking water, and looks like the deer is pregnant. So as soon as she hears the roar, she gets scared because the lion is going to come, or the lion or the tiger is going to come and kill her. So now, out of that fear, she tries to cross the bank and go on the other side to save herself. But she was so much in fear. In fact, when I'm talking about this, I'm just remembering the Narasimhadeva movie that we just saw, Mahavtara Narasimha. So it says in Bhagavatam actually that when Narasimhadev was roaring, so many of them had miscarriage just because of that the voice, the resounding roar of Narasimhadev. So same thing happened here when the lion is roaring. The deer becomes very fearful, and when she is about to cross the river, in the middle of the river, she has a miscarriage. So the baby just comes out, and she's frantically and panting and trying, somehow reaches the other side, and she gets inside the cave and she dies out of fear. And now what happens is a little fawn, little small baby deer is floating in the water now because the mother has left the child. So now Bharata Maharaj, he gets up and he goes and somehow rescues the baby deer. And now starts a real twist in his life. He rescues the baby deer, starts taking care of him with lots of love and compassion because the baby deer is an orphan. And there comes a twist in his life where he starts getting too much attached to the deer. So now as the days are passing, in this our chapter we see here, Bharata Maharaj starts neglecting his sadhana. He starts raising the deer, protecting it, maintaining it, carrying the deer, caressing it just like his own child. And in this way, he slowly gives up rules, regulations. Gradually, he gives up his sadhana. And after a few days, he forgets his goal. He forgets everything about the spiritual advancement that he wanted to do, for which he had left his kingdom. And then what happens? Not only is the deer physically around him, now the deer has also occupied his mind. So even when the deer is not around and has gone for grazing grass, he keeps on thinking about the deer. Oh, my dear, helpless deer, I hope no lion or tiger or a cruel animal has attacked my deer. It doesn't have any relatives. I am the only shelter. And he just keeps thinking, I should not neglect the deer. It's my responsibility. I have to take care. I have to protect it. I have to. And not only that, he became so attached that gradually, even when he used to do his meditation, the deer sometimes comes and sleeps in his lap. So, he's actually meditating, but one way he's also caressing the deer with one hand. Something like we can relate to, because something like we end up doing, like one way the WhatsApp messages and one way we do chanting. Something like that he was doing, like one way caressing the deer and then one way trying to do meditation. And then sometimes the deer comes, with his horns on his chest. And even when he was sleeping in the night, the deer used to sleep on his chest. So, and even when he went out to try and get some samagri for his worship, he used to carry the deer on his shoulders because he's afraid to leave the deer alone. And as a result, slowly, gradually, he started getting so attached to the deer. And finally, what happens, because of his anusanga, too much attachment to the deer, one day it so happened that when the deer went away far, he started lamenting so much. And if we see this whole conversation in this chapter where he's talking to himself, he says, oh, I'm so negligent. How come I didn't take care of it properly? Where it must be wandering? Oh, the earth is so fortunate that the lotus feet of my deer has, has been on this earth. Earth has become very fortunate. Oh, the shadow on the moon seemed like deer. So he said, oh, did my deer go to the moon planet? Or maybe the moon is protecting my deer. Oh, where must my deer have gone? So, that kind of all, it's very, very interesting the way he says, will I ever be able to see my deer again? How beautifully it used to graze the grass, and maybe it was eaten by a wolf, or maybe a pack of boars, or maybe a tiger must have attacked. Oh, actually, sunrise is the beginning of all auspicious thing. But for me, sunrise is not auspicious because my deer has not come back yet. So I'm not happy. The sun is setting now, and what must be happening to my poor animal, my poor deer? It has not come back to me. It has trusted me so much, but I have, let it down. I didn't take care properly and all that. So finally, his moha increased day by day, and what happens? The illusion also simultaneously increases. He was not thinking about the Lord, but he was thinking about the deer. And finally, when he left his body, he was thinking about the deer. And because he was thinking about the deer, as Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tijatante kalevaram tam tam vivete kaunteya sada tada bhava bhavita. Whatever you are thinking at the time of the death, you will get that kind of a body. Because he was meditating on the deer at the last moment, prayana samaya, antakale, when the soul was leaving body, he was not thinking about Krishna. He was thinking, oh alas, I am leaving my body. Who will take care of my deer? What will happen to my deer? So, dear devotees, this deer is very dangerous deer, and all of us have a deer in our life. I was just thinking that this deer separated Mother Sita from Lord Ram, because she was also attracted to the deer. She wanted the deer, and Ravana took her, and she was separated from Lord Ram. This deer separated Maharaja Dasharatha from Lord Ram, because when Dasharatha went for hunting, he assumed that the deer is drinking water, so he threw an arrow or shot an arrow without even looking, just by hearing the sound of maybe the deer is drinking water, and he shoots the arrow, but it's not a deer, it's actually Shravan Kumar. So because he shot an arrow, Shravan Kumar dies, and then the parents of Shravan Kumar, they curse Dashrath that because of you we lost our son, you will also feel separation from your son. So Dashrath Maharaj had to accept the curse, and as a result he got separated from Lord Shri Ram, and in that separation he left his body. So the deer disturbed Mother Sita, the deer disturbed Dasharatha, the deer disturbed Bharata Maharaj, and then there are so many deers in our life also. Sometimes our deer may be our mother, our deer may be our father, maybe our husband, maybe our child, or maybe something like a cell phone or a WhatsApp or a social media account, we don't know. So it's important when we read this chapter that we try and analyze who is that deer in my life who is taking me away from Krishna. If you observe the whole thing, actually Bharat Maharaj was such an amazing Mahabhagavata. He was actually on the stage of bhava, which is very rare to achieve. You see that different stages that Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur talks about, where you start with Shraddha, and then Sadhu Sangha, and Bhajana Kriya, and Anartha Nivritti. Then you come to your Nishtha, Ruchi, Asakti. After all those stages, you come to the stage of bhava. And he came to that stage, and then he again fell down in not even in a pursuit of an apsara, just a deer, an animal. So sometimes we wonder, like, really? It really doesn't look that practical. Like, really somebody can get that attached to deer? Yeah. That's what Bhagavatam is trying to show us, that even small, trivial things can derail our train, which is going back home, back to Godhead. As small as a deer, as small as a gulab jamun. I think, I don't know where I heard, but somewhere in some class, Prabhupada was saying that if you are attached to gulab jamun, then also you have to take birth again, or something like that. So, yeah, as trivial as gulab jamun. In fact, some time back I was giving a series on Dhruva Maharaj, and then I was making a deep research on Dhruva Maharaj's past life, and then somewhere I heard that Dhruva Maharaj was an amazing Bhagavat Kathakar. So he used to speak Bhagavatam so amazingly that people used to come from far and wide just to hear him speak. And there was this one king also who comes to hear his Bhagavat Katha. So when the king gets down from his chariot, for a fraction of a second, Dhruva looks at him and the chariot and he just exclaims, wow. I mean, just for the fraction of a second, oh, like what a beautiful or what an elegant chariot. That's all. And then again he's back to his katha. But that fraction of a second that, went on, the desire or maybe like, wow, this was so beautiful, that he had to take birth and then next life he had to rule for maybe like 36,000 years or so many years he had to rule. I mean, perpetually he had to become the ruler of, a planet was created from Dhruva Loka where he becomes the king. So even small little desire, if we have knowingly or unknowingly made, everything is taken a note of. So one has to be so careful. That is why His Holiness Gaur Govinda Maharaj used to say, if you are going for Govardhan Parikrama, wear your slippers. When I first heard, I thought, why is he telling that? Usually people say if you are going for Govardhan Parikrama, you should not wear your slippers. And then the next line he says, because Govardhan is Krishna, and you are coming directly in touch of that touch, there in that place, and you may end up asking something so foolish or so silly. Don't do that. That's what I mean. His whole point was not literally about wearing chappals, but he was saying that when you're coming that close in touch with direct Krishna, don't end up asking something foolish. And if you don't have that much brain, then don't come up in direct contact with Krishna. Wear your chappals, that's what he was trying to say. So it was a sarcasm just to, tell us how insignificant are our desires. So imagine like what is happening here to Bharat Maharaj, and why did he make a mistake? He left his kingdom, so he did detachment, he showed detachment, and then he was coming here and serving the Lord, showed attachment, everything was going, he did the do's and the don'ts, like we have our do's and the don'ts in the spiritual life, we do some things and we don't do certain things, everything was going on wonderful. Where did he go wrong? So did his compassion on the deer is wrong? No, it's not wrong. Like you are a devotee and imagine somebody is dying and their child is floating. Definitely you will go and protect. So his compassion for the deer and taking care of the deer is wrong. No, it's not wrong. You're supposed to help the child, the orphan. So where did he go wrong? He went wrong because he neglected his sadhana. He did not maintain a proper balance. That is where a mistake happened. Of course, this whole Leela is just to explain to us that how should our vyavahara or how should our life be. But in the bigger picture, the commentaries of the Acharyas say that Bharat Maharaj fell down because of his previous karmas. See, sometimes our previous karmas, the results of the previous karmas come in different ways. Sometimes your previous karma, if it's not good, the result may come in form of health. You may have a health issue, you may have a financial issue, you may have a relationship issue, you may have so many other issues. But sometimes the results of your previous karma come in the form of distractions when you are at your most vulnerable situation. That kind of forces will come to distract you because of some of your previous karma, and at that time the only solution is that you take shelter of Guru and Krishna, otherwise you get swayed away. Otherwise somebody at the bhava stage, how would he actually go down and get attached to a deer? So of course Bhagavatam is trying to tell us to be careful. I'm just reminded of this story. I am not able to remember the name of this rishi, but he was doing very wonderful for himself. He was also just like Bharat Maharaj, had a nice heart and was doing his austerities in a very wonderful way. And if somebody is doing their austerities in a wonderful way, we know one person who gets very insecure is Indra. So Indra started getting insecure that I need to disturb him. He's doing a good job. Looks like he may become another Indra. So he calls immediately the Apsaras, okay, come on, go and disturb him.
So the Apsaras say, well, sorry, our schedule is completely tight and we have other appointments and other rishis to disturb. So we are not able to fit him in our schedule. Then Indra says, all right, I'll take care of him personally. So Indra goes in a disguise. And then he stands in front of then Rishi and he says, well, I'm the king of this particular place. I've lost my way. I was hunting. So if you don't mind, I need one help. So yes, how can I help you? I said, well, I have this big sword which is pretty heavy, and as I have lost my way, I'll somehow try and figure out, but to carry this huge sword will be very difficult for me. So if you don't mind, can I keep it here with you, and my soldiers will come tomorrow morning and collect it. So, but he was so particular about not being distracted. So he says, definitely no. I want to help you as a king, but no. This is something very material and it looks too gorgeous. It's studded with all jewels and diamonds and all. No. So he says, how can you say no? I mean, the Kshatriyas protect the Brahmanas, and the Brahmanas are supposed to also help Kshatriyas in return. So I said, okay, I'll help you, but not inside my hut. Can you just keep it outside my hut, and please make sure tomorrow morning your soldiers come and collect it. Yeah, sure, they'll come. And Indra goes away. So the next day morning, the soldiers never come. So now every day the sage is waiting, the soldiers haven't come, and this beautiful sword is lying right in front of my hut. What am I supposed to do with it? So every day he's looking, but he doesn't even want to touch it. But finally one day he decides, that place is getting all dusty because there's the sword. So he just holds it with his hand, and from one place he puts it at the other place, and he sweeps this place, and then again he puts it from here to there and sweeps this place. And then after a few months he decides, this sword is lying here. They have never come to pick it up. But suddenly one fine day the king may come and say, where is my sword? Give it. And if I say I lost it, he'll get upset with me. Better I don't keep it here. If somebody comes and takes it, so whenever I go out in the jungle to collect the berries, maybe I should carry the sword. That will be more safer. So he started carrying the sword with him. So now one day it so happened that he was plucking some berries. When he was plucking the berries, suddenly a snake comes out. So as soon as the snake comes out, because this guy was also a king before, he had renounced everything and become a rishi. So immediately he knows how to use the sword. So immediately takes out the sword and chops off the snake's head. And the moment he does that, he just remembers his previous, not previous life as such, as previous year, previous or the past, how he used to live as a king and how wonderful it is just to use the sword. So he started enjoying it. So then he thought, why do I work so hard sometimes to, pluck this and all? Let me just cut the trees. So he started cutting the tree, he started chopping the animals, and he started engaging in all kinds of things, He was like, sometimes, for us also as devotees, sometimes the old habits just come back. Now I've seen many times devotees, they tell me that, Mataji, everything is easy in Krishna consciousness, but sometimes I just remember the onion pakoras, or sometimes I just remember the Udupi sambar. We were so used to taking that sambar with onion and garlic. Even now in the college hostel, when I just get the smell, I get tempted, Mataji, what to do. So it just happens like when you're used to something, like, you are used to that fragrance, you're used to that. So now he's a king and he was used to using that sword. So he was like, because what happens is, when we come into Krishna consciousness, it's not that our old habits die. They don't die. They go in hibernation. So hibernation is not death. So they may anytime come back. So we have to be so careful. All the time we have to be careful. Otherwise they just come back again. We have to be so careful. So now what happened? He started enjoying. And when Indra saw him doing that, rampantly killing animals and killing trees, he just winged at Ramba and Urvashi. Look, my job is done, even without your help. Look, he is now engaged in sinful activities. So that's what, even as something as small as a sword completely derailed his life. For Bharata Maharaj, something as small as in compassion towards a deer completely derailed his life, right? So, he was lonely in a forest with absolutely no contact. And that one contact that he made with the deer made him take 2 more lives. He was supposed to go back home, back to Godhead in this life. 1 deer, 2 extra lives. And sometimes I wonder, 10,000 contacts on my phone, what will happen? He just had 1 contact, 2 lives. We have 10,000 contacts into 20,000 lives. What's going to happen to us? We have to be so very careful whom we are talking with, dealing with. How are we engaging our time and energy, and where is our mind going? Now, he showed compassion, but his compassion was misdirected, and his compassion was independent. There was nobody around to tell him, Prabhu, you're not chanting your rounds properly. It looks like you are sleeping. There was nobody around him. So two things that were missing in Bharat Maharaj's glorious tapasya, just like, when you just put everything right in the upma, but if it's still not tasty, then you have to just check, maybe the salt is missing. Something is missing, very important thing. And that's why no matter how you put everything, did everything right according to the YouTube video, but looks like you forgot the salt. So he did just everything what the other kings were doing, renunciation, this and that. But two mistakes that he made was he didn't have a guru and he didn't have association. There was nobody around him to help him, and there was no guru. And same thing happened with Saubhara Muni. Saubhara Muni was inside the water. He didn't have a guru and he didn't have an association. So though he was also a very compassionate Muni, when Garuda came to eat the fishes, he wanted to protect the fishes. So he had that Jiva Daya. So he also had that compassion. But then there was no guru. So ultimately what happens? He ends up offending a Vaishnava. And then what happens? Simply watching two fishes mating, his tapasya is disturbed. And he comes out and marries the 50 daughters of Raja Mandhata. But we see the same thing in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Shivananda Sen also had compassion on the dog, but why didn't he fall down? Because he had guru and association of devotees. So he also had the compassion for the dog. But the one another important factor is that along with that compassion, he didn't give up on his sadhana. What happened with Bharat Maharaj, if he would have continued his sadhana nicely, at the same time have compassion for the deer, it was safe. But he stopped his sadhana. He didn't maintain a proper balance. So Shivananda Sen, he was also very attached to that dog. But then he had his seva and duties because he was arranging that whole yatra to take the devotees to Puri. So yeah, he told somebody, okay, take care of the dog. But he was doing his services, his sadhana, and he had a guru. He had a shelter of the devotees, an association of the devotees, right? So he didn't get swayed away. So the whole problem here we see is that it's not that everybody's sadhana will always be linear. Wow, perfectly going on because, I am under the shelter of Guru and I am an association of devotees, so my sadhana will, no, it will go up and down. It's not about whether it's going up and down. That's nothing to worry. Only thing is every time that it goes down, bring it back. Goes down, bring it back. That's what we keep doing. That's what the whole thing is about, struggling. That's it. We shouldn't stop struggling. So it'll go in this direction, it'll go in that direction, but just bring it back. So what Bharat Maharaj did was not wrong. If it was momentarily, oh, I have so much compassion for this deer, fine, wonderful. And then again, go back to your sadhana. At the same time, balance, that would be nice. But he stopped his sadhana completely. So the first problem that Bharat Maharaj faced was R for reduced sadhana. His sadhana was reduced. And reduced sadhana is something like an orange light in the traffic signal. When you have a traffic signal and you see orange light means you slow down, right? Green means you go, orange means slow, and red means you stop. So even though his sadhana was reduced, it was still orange and not completely red flag. Because, okay, sadhana is reduced, there is always chances to come back and do what you were doing before. But the other problem happened in his life was the next R. And that next R is, along with the reduced sadhana, he started having R for reasoning. It's okay if I don't do my 16 rounds. Anyway, Krishna said, one time if somebody chants purely the Lord's name, that is also enough. Where in Bhagavad Gita it is written 16 rounds? My health is not good, I did not do. What's the problem? Anyway, I haven't taken initiation yet. I have just taken shelter. So once in a while I can miss. But anyway, today was important seva, so I could not complete my round. So when you justify or give reasons, that is actual red light. When your sadhana reduced, that's not red light. That's orange light. Okay, there's something not going well. Take help and get back. But when you start reasoning and justifying and you have no guilty feeling, you think, I'm okay, I'm fine, I don't think I need help, I'm just doing well. There is no chance to do chanting. There is no way I can go attend today's class because you see this problems are there and I'm not guilty about it. And you don't even accept it, that what you are doing is wrong. Then that is the red light. And after red light, what happens? Accident. So same thing happened to Bharata Maharaj. He started with the reduced sadhana. And then he started reasoning, but this deer is an orphan. I have to take care. If I don't take care, who will take care of this deer? And once he started doing that, and then what happens? Ritualistic. Then everything became ritualistic. You see the verses where he himself says that when he used to feign meditation, that means he's just acting, and the deer used to get angry on me. Why are you meditating? That's what the deer, and it circumambulated me, and it used to come and pierce me with its. So he himself is accepting that he was feigning meditation just to play games with the deer. So that's what happens, He started becoming ritualistic. There was no more bhava. So that was happened when our sadhana gets reduced. We start reasoning, there is no guilty feeling, and then we become ritualistic. And then we are waiting, when will this 16 round, which is the biggest burden of my life, get over? Oh, I'm done with it. Thank you so much. I'm finished for the day. And then comes the last hour in our life. Reduced sadhana, reasoning, ritualistic, and then we become restless. And then nothing seems nice. You no more enjoy the association of devotees. You no more enjoy to be part of the Sunday programs. You no more enjoy on yatras. You no more enjoy. You want to engage in non-devotional activities. You want to be lonely. You want to be alone. You don't want to associate with devotees. You feel boring. You feel suffocating. And because you feel suffocating and boring, you start giving reasons and finding fault with others. Actually, I'm okay, but when this Prabhuji gives class, it's so boring. He just keeps on speaking something. No, actually, I want to go to temple, but this particular temple, that association I don't like. That previous temple, that was very nice, but it is 30 kilometers from my house, so I can't go. Oh, this yatra, I would have come, but actually, now you are so suffocated and so bored with devotee association. You always have something reason to give and you don't enjoy the association. So these are the 4 hours that happened in Bharata Maharaj's life. The sadhana was reduced, he started reasoning, he became ritualistic and then fall down. And what happens, he becomes restless, he can't live a minute without the deer, and at the end, he just thinks about the deer. So in our life also, there may be so many distractions, there may be so many alternate attractions. We are also not perfect, but at least if we don't leave the hand of Guru and Krishna, they'll always pull us back, and they'll always pull us back. Because every day we are also struggling with Maya. I always give this example, my school children, when we take them on a picnic to zoo, they hold the teacher's hand and then they roar at the tiger because they know the teacher is holding the hand, so they're not afraid. So similarly, in this world where Maya is all the time trying to, attack us, if we are holding Guru and Krishna's hand, what Srila Prabhupada said, if you chant 16 rounds, you're not holding Krishna's hand. Krishna is holding your hand. So when we complete our 16 rounds, when we do our sadhana, Krishna is holding our hand, and there is a difference of us holding and he holding. Of us holding, we may sometimes leave it if we get too much distracted. But he holds, he will not leave. Just like a mother. When the mother holds the hand of the child, the mother doesn't leave. The children, sometimes they leave and they get attracted to some toys. But the mother has hold the hand in the busy marketplace, she won't leave. So at least one should take shelter of Guru and Krishna, no matter what happens. Because definitely nobody can be perfect. It's not that... there will be one point in our life where we'll never get distracted. A devotee at any point can get distracted. Somebody at the bhava stage, we are all here still on a very, very low stage, probably just in anartha nivritti stage. So what about bhava stage also? That means at every stage of life, we need association. At every stage of life, we need to be alert. We need to be alert. Maya can attack us anytime. But whatever situation of our life, we should not forget Krishna. We should not neglect our sadhana. Even if we feel we are getting distracted, ask Krishna only for help. That's the best way. Because actually he is the one. Maya is his energy. So only he can help us. So we have to ask Krishna, please help. I'm getting distracted. Talk to him. That's all right. Krishna is a person, right? So you talk to him. Krishna, I know this is not right for me, but I don't know why I'm getting distracted. Can you please help me? So I remember when I was a very young girl, I don't know, maybe 11, maybe 10 or 11 years, I don't remember. My Siksha Guru and his wife had come to my uncle's place. We had invited them for, actually they were living with us, maybe at my uncle's place for maybe like 3-4 days. I don't remember, it has been a long time now, 10 or 11 years. I was 10 or 11-year-old girl. So now at my house, we don't take onion garlic from the beginning. Like we completely follow things perfectly, my father's side. So we have never tasted onion and garlic from the beginning, from childhood. Even if we want to have sauce or something, my mother prepares at home. But at my uncle's house, they are not that strict. So they used to buy this Maggi tomato sauce bottle which has onion or garlic or something like that. Now, of course, so many sauce bottles have come up, no onion, no garlic. But I'm talking about something when I was maybe in the 80s, when I was a 10 or 11-year-old girl. So my Siksha Guru and his wife is a very good cook. So she said she'll make noodles. So noodles or pasta, I don't remember now, for all of us. So we were very happy. She made it, and we were all sitting in the dining table with the noodles served hot. And then as I was about to take it, I thought, where is the sauce? So then there is no sauce on the table. Everybody was eating, but I thought I can't eat without sauce. So I was looking at my mother that I'll go to the fridge and bring the sauce. So my mother, you know how mothers speak with daughter with the eye movement. So she told me that, no, you know that sauce is not for us because that sauce has garlic. So how you can take it? Believe me, I was so tempted. I was 10-year-old and I was like, I have to take that sauce. Even if it has garlic, I don't care. But how do you eat noodles without sauce? So I was telling my mother that little bit I'll take, little bit. And my mother was like, no, because in our house, we will have it in the fridge. The no onion, no garlic. But in my aunt's house, uncle's house, there'll be, it's just a normal sauce. I did not listen to my mother. I took my plate. And my mother is warning me that if you go there, and open the fridge, I will inform your Siksha Guru. Because we were also very new to ISKCON, and I'll inform your Siksha Guru. So I was like, I was so stubborn, I thought, how will he come to know? And I have to take it. And I was also very new. And for us, for a small girl, it was like, noodles without sauce can be like completely no. So I went there. But, the beautiful part is I took shelter of Krishna. So I was with my plate. I was going towards the fridge and I was telling Krishna, I'm very sorry. I know I'm not supposed to take a sauce which has garlic, but I'm not able to control myself. So I'm saying, Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. But that force is so high, I just went, opened the fridge, took the bottle, and I'm balancing the plate on my stomach like this, the door with my hand, opening the bottle, and I'm just trying to put, because I thought, I can't bring the bottle on the dining table, my Siksha Guru will see, I'll just put the sauce and then I'll go with, then how will he come to know? That was my wicked plan. So I just took the bottle and I'm like about to pour the sauce, and the bottle slipped from my hand and broke. And my mother was so happy. She was laughing, And then immediately my Siksha Guru asked, what happened? I said, nothing, Prabhuji, something slipped from my hand. Chup chap, I came back to my dining table and I ate those noodles without the sauce. And then I was laughing that I shouldn't have asked Krishna for help because he really helped. I was thinking he will not help and then I can eat that sauce. But he really helped. The bottle broke. So sometimes, if you are too much distracted also, just take shelter of Krishna. Krishna, I'm completely distracted. I don't know what to do. I don't want to do it, but something is forcing me to do it. But Krishna, please help, please help, please help. Don't leave Krishna. Even though he was attracted by the deer, he could have simply held on to Krishna. I'm going to do my sadhana perfectly, even though I'm attracted to the deer. But he stopped his sadhana. So one should be alert. See, the 4 R's that can take us down is, reduce sadhana, reasoning, becoming ritualistic and restless. But then there are 3 A's in our life which can bring us back. A for being alert. See, sometimes you see people are, the soldiers, they've been trained how to use the gun, what are the different kinds of pistols, how far they can shoot and, what happens, how far the bullet goes, what is the speed, everything. That's very good. Knowledge is wonderful. Sometimes they're trained also. But when the enemy comes, if they are sleeping, the enemy will kill. At that time, they cannot argue, but I have knowledge how to use the pistol. Yeah, you have knowledge, but you were sleeping. So if you're sleeping, the enemies will come and kill. No, but I had full training also. Yeah, you had training, but you were sleeping. So sometimes, we may say, I completed Bhakti Shastri, and then now I'm doing my Bhakti Vaibhav and Bhakti Vedanta. And, yeah, you have knowledge, but then are you alert? Only because I did my IDC, I did my Bhakti Shastri courses, it's not that that will protect me from Maya. That's knowledge, but to be protected from Maya, I'll have to be alert. What am I eating? What am I doing? With whom I'm involving? Where am I giving my eyes and ears? If I don't be alert, then Maya will come and she will rob everything and go away. All my bhakti, all my austerities, whatever I did. So one has to be alert. It's very, very important, because mind is like, it will keep on irritating us and asking us so many questions, so many desires. Whenever I think about this mind, I remember this one vivid picture in my mind which comes as of Kamyavan in Vrindavan. The first time that I went to Kamyavan, I was so irritated. We were all Matajis and we were standing near the Pishnari Shila. In Kamyavan there is this place called Pishnari Shila. So it's like a sliding rock, slippery sliding rock. You can all, like Krishna used to slide there with his cowherd friends. So we were all there and ready to slide and all. We wanted to take some pictures and we were like super excited. We are here at Krishna's sliding rock. And there's this little small girls and boys, maybe 5 years, 6 years, 4 years old, and they were coming and irritating us. They say, Mataji, de do na, Mataji, de do na. I mean, they wanted some money. So, 1 rupee, 2 rupee, 5 rupee, 10 rupees. They were going on saying continuously, de do na. They made us so irritated that finally we said, okay, first you take, be happy. Then only they will allow us to have that fun of sliding. And also, whenever I think about the mind, I think, the mind is also like that. De do na, like, I want this, please give me. But the only difference is, when we gave the money to those girls, it didn't stop there. They went and called others also. That these Matajis are very generous and they gave us 10 rupees, come, you also take. That's what the mind does. The moment you think it's irritating me, let me just give it. He doesn't stop there. It'll bring more of his friends. Okay, now this desire is over. Now my other desires are there. And it's like putting fuel inside the fire. It'll burn more nicely. It's not that it'll stop. So what is the solution? The solution is to start chanting. Whenever the mind disturbs a lot, you start chanting. Now somebody may say, but Hare, mind is having desire. And why this ISKCON wala, for everything they say chanting karo? So how can chanting sort out everything? Now, I want to have a bike. I want to buy a bike and that's my material desires. And you people say, keep chanting. No. Chanting will not give you bike. What will happen is, your mind is disturbed now. It's not peaceful. It's asking something. But if you chant, then mind becomes peaceful. It comes under sattva guna. It comes in sattva guna. And in sattva guna, you will have clarity in thinking. So now you won't get carried away. You are anchored, just like a boat. If it's in the ocean, like it's going like this, that. If there is no anchor, it may get drowned. But if it's anchored, it may still move, but it will not get drowned. So when you anchor yourself with mantra, you will become peaceful. You will come in mode of sattva. And in sattva guna, your mind becomes peaceful. And only with peaceful mind, you can do something. See, even in normal materialistic world also, they give a lot of importance to peaceful mind. Unless you have a peaceful mind, you can't do anything. We are here at Visakhapatnam, and we have a naval base here, and they train a lot of Navy officers. So one exercise that they do with this Navy officers is, during the training, they will blindfold them, they will tie their hands and legs, and then they will push them inside water, a 9 feet water tank or something like that. So now imagine, as soon as you do that, somebody will become very restless. Oh, I'm going to die. But these people are trained so wonderfully. Even when they are pushed inside the water, first of all, they'll become very peaceful. Then slowly they'll try to, detangle themselves, whatever the ropes have been tied. Because actually they'll be tied very loose. If you are peaceful, you can slowly take it out. They'll slowly remove that, and then slowly they'll come up. Because it's only 9 feet, not that deep also. But those who are restless, they will start doing like this, like that, and it will get more and more entangled, So even they also test how peaceful you can be in different situations. So peaceful mind is very, very important. Unsettled mind is very dangerous. And the problem with this mind is, this mind works in decades. Just that when you start feeling comfortable, you are telling all this, but Mataji, believe me, my mind is just wonderful. I don't have any problem, no disturbance. My Krishna consciousness is going wonderfully. And if suddenly you will see, after 5 years, 10, 15, 20 years, suddenly your mind will start telling what you are doing, this Krishna consciousness, for why you are doing, what Krishna did for us. In COVID, he did not even help us. Our kakas, chachas, nanas, dadis, daughters all died. This happened to that person. Krishna is not helping. This temple is not good. This devotee, what happened to him? He was brahmachari. Look, now he got married. This devotee, I was thinking so great about him. He got second time married. You will start seeing all the faults in the devotees, faults in the temple, faults in everything. I don't want to be. You'll pack your luggage and move out of Krishna consciousness. Mind is that kind of an enemy. It's always ready with the sword. Suddenly it will backstab you. And you're not even prepared because you're thinking everything is just going wonderful. I was chanting my rounds, everything was going wonderful. I don't know where all these bad thoughts started coming. No, it's all there. It's just waiting to stab you. So what to do? You're living with somebody so dangerous who can stab you at any point of time. So that brings us to our next A, is that you have to be alert, at the same time have association. When you're living with somebody so dangerous, better to have your friends around, because when the mind stabs you, at least your friends will be there along you to help you out. No, Prabhu, don't think like that. No, Mataji, don't think like that. Look at this in this way. And they will protect you from not going away from Krishna consciousness. So yes, A for being alert, and the next A is to have association of devotees. No matter what happens, because sometimes, devotees can do such big help to us, that which even Krishna can't. And I'll give you an example. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, we see Kala Krishna Das. He was with Krishna, constant association of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but he got distracted by the Bhattahari women. And the Bhattahari women, they just dragged him and took him away. And then what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu brought him back. Okay, Mahaprabhu brought him back from Maya. He was with Krishna. Mahaprabhu himself protected him. But then again, Mahaprabhu rejected him also. After coming back from South Indian Yatra, Mahaprabhu said, this Kala Krishna Das, he left me and went off with those Bhattahari women. I reject him. I don't want to have him as my secretary anymore. Kala Krishna Das was devastated. Now what to do? Then all these devotees we read in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Mukunda Datta and Jagadananda and Nityananda Prabhu, and they all come and they say, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, if you don't mind, he was with you in the South Indian Yatra. The Navadip devotees are waiting eagerly to hear the news, what you did in South Indian Yatra. Can we send him for a Shravan festival? He will go there and explain and tell all the pastimes that happened there in South India. And he said, okay, fine, send him. So then though he was rejected by the Lord, he was protected by the devotees. The devotees engaged him in Navadvip, and he went to Sachi Mata, and then there was a big festival there in Navadvip where he was continuously talking about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Leela. So it's so important that we need association. And Bharata Maharaj did not have association. He was lonely there near the Gandaki river. Neither he had guru, neither he had association, and neither he was alert. He indulged in an unnecessary, indulge himself with something, ignoring his sadhana, right? And even though he was having that compassion, he did not maintain his sadhana. Even if we have materialistic desire, somehow don't leave Krishna and sadhana continuously, then Krishna will take care of that. We can't do anything about the material desires. The only thing we can do is hold Krishna's hand. What happened with Dhruva Maharaj? He had material desires. But the only thing he did is he did not leave Krishna. He went and asked the material desire to Krishna only. And then Krishna purified him. And we see Dhruva Maharaj, he went with the materialistic desire, but he became a great devotee who is now in the books of Bhagavatam. So when somebody does his sadhana properly, during the time of the attacks of Maya, the sadhana protects them. The sadhana becomes like a kavach. What happened to Haridas Thakur? Even though the prostitute comes in front of him, he because of his strong sadhana, he has a determination to keep himself away from her. So Dhruva Maharaj's material desire was fulfilled. Haridas Thakur got his determination, and sadhana also, like, see what happened with even Ajamila, because he had previously chanted, and because he had previously served whatever brahmanas or whatever, and then when this moment comes in his life and he gets distracted by the prostitute and all, and one little chanting of the holy name, even unconsciously, had a wake-up call in his life. Just one time of chanting, one time unconsciously taking shelter of the holy name of the Lord also protected him. Imagine if somebody is consciously taking shelter of the holy name, what would happen to him, right? So one has to be so cautious. If somebody is casual in his Krishna conscious life, he becomes a casuality. One shouldn't become complacent and be all the time alert. Always give importance to one's chanting, hearing, in every certain situation and circumstances. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he says in Chaitanya Charitamrita that chanting and hearing is like eating and drinking. If you don't eat and drink, what will happen to your physical body? If you don't chant and hear, what will happen to your spiritual life? It will be doomed. Very soon it will be gone, Reading books, Srila Prabhupada books. Reading Srila Prabhupada books is like lights. You have your lights here. See, when you're traveling in a car, if the car doesn't have headlights, the car may not have a smooth ride. They will be bumping because you don't know where there are pits. But if you have a headlight in the car, you can see, oh, there is a speed breaker. Is it? I will slow down. When we read scriptures, they are like those headlights. They're all the time showing us, this is not the right thing to do. Come on, take a right, take a left. Don't go here. This is not the right place for you. So when we chant, when we hear, when we read, when we do seva, very important, because seva gives us realization. Realization comes happiness. When we get happiness in Krishna consciousness, we want to continue. Without happiness, dryly, just because somebody asked us to do it, we can't continue. But when we get happiness, when we experience happiness, then we are inspired to continue our Krishna consciousness, right? So this is all very, very interconnected. Proper sadhana, being alert, being in the association of devotees, and then anyway, so finally, and having the right aspirations. So finally, now what happens? He got out in the game, and he had to become a deer. So even in our lives, sometimes there may be too many appeals by our mind, just like in the game of a cricket. Maybe the cricketers or the players may make too many appeals, very passionate appeals to the umpire. But the umpire doesn't get impressed by the appeals. He says, well, look, I have to see the third umpire. I have to check with the third umpire if it was an out or not. Just because you are making a passionate appeal, I won't give out. Similarly, our mind may make so many appeal, but we have to look at the third umpire. That is Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. Just see things with Shastra that yes, you are making appeal, but is it there in the Shastra or not? I have to check it out. Only then I can indulge in this. So this is what happens to him. That is why Srila Prabhupada once told to Tamal Krishna Maharaj, be conscious, then become Krishna conscious. First be conscious. We have to be so alert. What am I doing? What am I talking? With whom I am associating? There is this one pastime in the first canto of Bhagavatam where Sukadeva Goswami is not coming out from the womb, and his father is saying, come on, you're disappointing me. 16 years you are there inside, now come out. So he said, the fact that, Father, you said disappointed, being happy, being unhappy, these dualities of life, that means you are also covered by Maya. And if I come out, I'll be covered by Maya, so I won't come out. So call the Maya Dish, the one who is the husband of Maya, call him, ask him to give me promise that Maya will not attack, only then I'll come out. So during that pastime in the purport, Srila Prabhupada says that because Sukadeva Goswami is a liberated person, he is very cautious of Maya. So actually, we assume that somebody is a liberated person means he doesn't have to worry about Maya because he's already liberated. But even a liberated person is so alert about Maya, then what to speak about you and me, how much alert that we have to be from Maya. So that's a lesson for us when Srila Prabhupada says that in the purport, that even somebody is liberated, is also very careful that I don't want to get attacked by Maya. So anyway, this is what happens to Maharaja Bharat, and then he becomes a deer. Now somebody may say, well, is not Krishna very cruel, Mataji? somebody is so nice, so wonderful. I mean, he didn't even do anything wrong. It's not that he was taking some kachoris or pizzas on Ekadashi. He was just helping a deer. I mean, Krishna could have helped him, is it not? Like, why did Krishna allow him to become a deer? Krishna could have helped him at the last moment in his life, just come and help him out. See, sometimes some pastimes are, for us, like, doesn't look fair, but it's just to draw home a point that Krishna wants to make with us, that be careful. Like, anything can happen at any stage of life, But Krishna was kind to him also, because when he becomes a deer in his next life, he doesn't forget his previous birth. He remembers everything. He remembers what all happened. So even in a deer body, he's very careful. He doesn't get engaged in anything or starts eating some juicy fruits. He just survives on some dry leaves which fall from the tree, and then he's very careful, doesn't go and associate with other she-deers and starts enjoying. He just goes back to that same place where he was doing his tapas near the Gandaki river, the Pulasya ashram, the Pulaha ashram. He comes back there and he's severely lamenting in his heart that, what did I do to myself? I become a deer now. And then, see, of course, for us, like, this sounds very big, but in a big picture of life, these are small moments. For example, somebody is in a classroom and is making noise, and the teacher says, get out. You're making so much noise in my classroom. Stand outside for this period. So the child has to stand outside for 45 minutes. After the period is over, the child comes back. It's just a brief period of 45 minutes during the whole classroom that he must be having from morning 9 to evening 3 o'clock. The same thing happening with Bharata Maharaj. He's inside the classroom of Bhava, and then he makes a mistake and Krishna is like, come on, get out. So he goes out for that 45 minutes or something in a life of a deer, and then again he gets another life which we will be talking about tomorrow. Then again he's back. So it's like a brief period of punishment given by the Lord, but they're not removed from the school, just removed from the classroom. For time being, and then they again get back and they again start from the same class. So if he's in the 5th class, he's still in the 5th class. It's not that now because he was asked to stand out for 45 minutes, now he'll go to class 2nd. No, he will still be in class 5. He's not removed from the school, neither he's removed from the class status. He's just in the classroom. He has to stand outside because of the mistake he made. So yes, a Lord is very kind, like a father and a teacher, and you make a mistake and you get punished. You get punished, you have to get out, and then you again come back. But they don't hate, the Lord doesn't hate you. So the Lord loved Bharata Maharaj, and he made a small mistake, and sometimes the smart students make mistake. They get punished more heavier than the dull students. Sometimes the dull student teachers are okay. Oh, you didn't do homework, it's okay. The smart student doesn't do, how come you didn't do it? You're supposed to be a sincere boy. I didn't expect that from you. So the same thing happens, like Bharata Maharaj is on the Bhava stage. Okay, come on now. You're not an Anartha Nivritti stage that I can forgive you and you did some mistake and all. Come on, at Bhava stage and you forget me and start worshipping a deer. Get out of my class. That's what happened. That's what Krishna does to him. And then again, he's back, right? So it's like a very, very brief chastisement, because he's the favorite student of the Lord. He gave up the whole planet Earth, the whole kingdom, just to serve the Lord. He must have had such great desire, right? That he left everything just to come and serve the Lord. So yeah, the important lesson that we learn from, in fact, actually I decided to give you one nice acronym, which you can remember. Like yesterday we had the acronym of Priyavrata. Today I want to give you this acronym of Bharata Maharaj, so that you can remember what are the lessons that we learned from his life. So Bharat, the first thing is be detached. Look at Bharata Maharaj, how detached he was. Though he had the whole planet Earth to enjoy, but he gives up at the right time after his duty is over. So being detached. And H for have the goal clear. So we learned from Bharata Maharaj that if you have taken the train to go to Vrindavan, go to Vrindavan. Don't get down at every station and start eating some kachori or halwa puri. You may miss the train. If you have on the train, just be on the train. Don't get distracted and don't get down at every station. That's what Bharata Maharaj did. So H for have the goal clear. You have decided to become a bhakta. You want to go back home, back to Godhead. Keep your goal clear. Every class, don't start asking questions, but how should I do it? But how should I do it? Why should I do it? Should be clear, and the hows will happen. Next, A for avoid subtle attachment. So sometimes something very, very trivial and you may get attached. You may even get attached to the place you stand in Tulsi Aarti every day. You may even get attached to the place where you sit while hearing Bhagavatam class. You may get attached to the place where you sit and chant. You may get attached to, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not even want Sanatana Goswami to have a costly quilt on him. We are not on that stages of Rupa or Sanatana. I'm just trying to give an example that Mahaprabhu was so careful. So even we may be thinking that, I think I'm okay, but we may be attached to so many small things. We may be attached to which side of the bed we want to sleep every day in the night. We may be attached to the smell of a particular soap we want to use. So there may be so many such small, subtle attachment. We think it's normal, but it's okay to have that attachment. We don't have to become panic about it, but we just have to be conscious about it. That where is my attachment placed? Who is my dear? That's what we need to be conscious. So B, be detached. H, have the goal clear. A, avoid subtle attachment. And see, these attachments may not only be towards people, may not only be towards places, or it may also be towards situations. I want this particular situation to be like that. See, sometimes, though Srila Prabhupada made this beautiful spiritual world for us inside this material world, we may make a material world inside the spiritual world. We may get attached to our positions, though we may have left our family and house to come and serve in ISKCON or do something, but even after coming into ISKCON, we may get attached to position. I want this position, I want this, I want that post, I want that. So one has to be very clear. We don't know where am I getting attached. Or we should not even get attached to our seva. No, this is my seva. I want to do it. No, it's okay. It's okay. Like we saw how Bharata Maharaj was not attached to his ashram. And whatever ashram I have to serve, I'll serve. As a grahastha or brahmachari. Whatever seva the authorities ask me, I'll do. Not that I will do only this seva because this is what I've been doing always. So this Janmashtami, if your seva is changed, it's changed. Whatever seva is given, do it happily. Next are remembering Krishna at the time of death. The poor guy worshipped Shaligram, did everything, but then the last moments of his life got attached to the deer, and instead of thinking of Krishna, he was thinking of the deer. So BHARA, accept responsibility for mistakes. So now, when he became deer, he accepted his mistake. It's not that he was justifying, neither he was sulking. I think I'm not going to be devotee anymore. Arey, chota sa mistake and Krishna made me deer? Is he fair with me? I hate Krishna. Why did he do this to me? He's not fair. No, there's no complaint. There's no justification. There is just acceptance. I did mistake. I got punished. But now I'll be careful. That's the way a devotee takes it. Not for every small thing we have a complaint with the management, we have complaint with the temple, we have complaint with our Siksha Guru, complaint with the mentor, complaint with this. But actually, it was like this. Why? Fine, whatever has done, I accept the responsibility. I want to be careful now. I won't do it again. There ends the story. Next, T. T for treasure, devotee association. Very important. Actually, what we think about association is something like we all sit together and have prasadam, and we all sit together and hear classes. No, association means you share with each other. You share. Prabhu, did you hear that class? It was so nice. And these are the points. What are you reading in Bhagavatam? What's going on? Prabhu, I did this service. What are you doing? You share with each other. You appreciate each other. Prabhu, the garland you made yesterday was so beautiful. Oh, the class you gave was so nice. Oh, that particular thing that you did. Oh, wonderful. Appreciate each other. Share things with each other. And not only that, have accountability. Somebody you are accountable to. How many rounds you did, what happened. That is what is association about. It's not just taking a selfie or a group photo, but it's about do you have somebody in your life who asks you, yes, how many rounds did you finish? What's going on in your life? That's very important. Accountability. Are you accountable to somebody? See, Indra was not accountable to anybody. That's why Govardhan Leela happened, because he was the boss. When you become the boss, then it's very difficult. You have to have somebody, some boss around above your head. Then things go properly in our Krishna consciousness. What happened? I'm just reminded of this one pastime that Bhurijan Prabhu wrote in his book. my glorious master. It was a very wonderful thing. He said he went to receive Prabhupada at the station, and Prabhupada asked him that what is happening with the temple programs, and he said, well, actually temple programs are paused because no guests are coming. And Prabhupada said, the temple programs are not for the guests, they're for you. Why aren't you following the temple programs? Are you not my disciple? Is this not an ISKCON center? So Burijan Prabhu says in that book that the way Prabhupada chastised me publicly in front of everybody, I felt there was an open heart surgery done on me without even giving anesthesia. And he says that when Prabhupada chastises me, dear devotees, I don't feel it's very romantic. Neither I feel it's very pleasurable. Wow, my Guru has chastised me. It's very painful because he is the only person in this world whom I love so much. And just to see that smile on his face, I can work hard the whole day. And if he is not happy with me, then that's the most painful thing in my life. So like that, if you have somebody in your life whom you want to make happy, whom I want to work because I want to make this devotee happy, then that will inspire you so much. Somebody you are accountable to, somebody in your life who's connecting you to Parampara is so important. That's the association we want, Even in fact, my Guru Maharaj, His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Guru Maharaj, is I think the highest standing sannyasi in the Gaudiya Vaishnava lineage, because he took sannyas at a very young age, but he's still accountable. Every Vyasa Puja, his secretary comes out and reads how many rounds he chanted. Did he complete his 16 rounds or not? In fact, how many rounds extra he chanted every day with this kind of health situation that he has. He also talks about this is what I did, this how my sadhana went. He doesn't have to. Especially he doesn't have to share with his disciples. But yeah. So that's how, that's what is association all about. To have somebody in our life. Association means accountability. Association means sharing. Association means appreciation. Association means consultation. We should have somebody whom we can consult in our life. See, Ravana he did not consult Vibhishan before he kidnapped Sita. And Hiranyakashipu did not consult anybody before he started torturing Prahlad Maharaj. Neither Daksha consulted anybody before he insulted Lord Shiva. But devotee association means consultation. Lord Ram consulted Sugriva. Lord Ram consulted Angada. Lord Ram consulted Hanuman. Always consulting. Do you think I should do that? Do you think I should do that? That's how a devotee is. That's an example Lord Ram is showing. Association means you consult. Take opinion, take advice, take suggestions. What should I do? What should I not do? Encourage each other. Associate with each other. So yeah, coming back to our acronym. B for being detached, H for have the goal clear, A for avoid subtle attachment, R for remembering Krishna at the time of death, A for accepting responsibility for mistakes. As a deer, he did that, he accepted. And T for treasure devotee association, and the last A is advance with determination, not wasting time in regret. This is very important. So after he became a deer, he never wasted any time. He ran back to that place, and there also he went in search of that hermitage, Pulaha Ashram and Pulatya Muni's ashram, because he wanted, even in the deer life, he wanted to hear from the devotees. He wants to be in that pious atmosphere where he can see the devotees. And this time, he didn't want to miss an association of devotees. He didn't want to be lonely, because last time he was lonely and he fell down. This time he wanted to have the association of devotees. So he went to that place where the devotees were staying, and he moved around in that vicinity as a deer, and in great lamentation, in Paschatapa, gave up his body. And now when he gives up his body, he gets another life. And this time he becomes Jada Bharat. So why we call him Jada Bharat? Actually, he becomes a son of a Brahmana, but then we call him Jada Bharat because in this life, he's so detached from everything that everybody thinks he's a fool, and they call him Jada Bharat, So this is what happens. And with this, we complete the chapter 8. And now we enter the chapter 9, where Bharat Maharaj, after getting the body of a deer, he leaves that body also, and now he enters into the third life where he becomes a son of a Brahmana. So it is already, let me see the time, it's already 8:23, so I think I'll pause here And tomorrow we will continue the last part of our session, where we will speak about Jada Bharat, what happens to him, how is his character, and there is some interesting stories of how he gets attacked by some people in the forest who wants to, give him as an offering to Mata Kali. And then finally, how Jada Bharat meets Maharaj Rahuguna. And that whole conversation is very, very interesting, where Rahugana actually misunderstands Jada Bharat in the beginning, but then when he comes to know that looks like this person has lot of knowledge and wisdom, he takes his shelter, and this beautiful conversation happens between both of them. There is question and answers, which is very, very interesting. So thank you so much, dear devotees. I will pause it here today, and tomorrow we will start with chapter 9, chapter 8 or chapter 9, yeah. The story of Jada Bharat, yes. Tomorrow we'll start, yeah. Thank you so much. I'll pause it here. It's already time and already 8:30. There is very quickly 1 or 2 questions we'll take and we'll close it here. Thank you so much. Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Hare Krishna. Yeah, a very interesting question, Mataji. Definitely Krishna consciousness is a very serious thing, and we shouldn't be taking it so lightly. First of all, the fact that we are in Grihastha life, and it's not that we are celibates, and there's so many things that we are walking on a dragger. Actually, we are walking on a knife, which is a sharp razor knife, and we have to be so serious. A devotee will, the first symptom of a devotee is that avyartha kalena, he wouldn't want to waste time, because we know that one moment of time once lost never comes back. So devotee has to be really serious of not wasting even a fraction of a second. Now coming back to dealing with the devotees, there are different types of devotees that we deal with. Some devotees are new, some devotees are on same time, some devotees are a little bit advanced. We should always try and associate with advanced devotees so that we can gain something from them. By their random talks and by their association, we can learn so much. By the way they carry themselves, by the way they talk and move around, we can learn so much. But not always we have that opportunity to associate with devotees who are advanced. We usually end up with the devotees who are on the same level, and even though we are endeavoring to try and do a little bit better, sometimes we get pulled down by the other devotees association, and at that moment we start wondering that we've always been told that associate with devotees, but look here, association of devotees is actually pulling me down, so what should I do? But still we should not try to leave their association, because if we try to do something alone, then Maya has more chances to attack. But only thing is that we should have all 3 types of association so that it nourishes us, because sometimes the association with the devotees who are on the same level may not be that nourishing, because either they are on the same level or they are in a little bit of lower level. Then we are not getting any nourishment or any inspiration to go further. So always we should have association of some advanced devotees also, either personally or by classes, so that there will be some advancement in our thinking, in some advancement in our introspection, in some advancement in changes in our behavior. And sometimes it's not that easy, that people around us also may be going through that same stage. They may be in different levels of Krishna consciousness. So we have I wouldn't say superficial, but we have some kind of a hello and a very preliminary, primary association, like okay, fine, but we try to maintain distance and not get too much into it. So actually in the nectar of instruction, it says that actual association is like you share your mind, you hear their mind, you give them gift, they give you gift. You call them for prasadam, they give you prasadam. But if you think that those devotees are not on that level and their association is not nourishing you, then you don't get into those things with that devotees and maintain a little distance. But try and associate with those devotees whose talks, whose behavior, whose association will nourish you more to go further in Krishna consciousness. At the same time, these devotees also, you can, as you use the word in your own question, politely. So you politely excuse yourself. So as you said that after prasadam of the Sunday program, the only thing we do is gossip. So yes, after prasadam, you can withdraw yourself very politely. I have some rounds to be done, or I have something, or I have some questions to ask somebody. So like that you can politely withdraw yourself. But at the same time, we never cut out completely, because we need every kind of devotees. And sometimes we should also have an attitude of learning something from everybody. So even if those devotees are, engaging in gossip, there must be something nice also about them, which we can try and focus on that point. Okay, this Mataji has this habit of gossiping, but she's good at this. So we just focus on that good thing and have some appreciation for them in our heart and move out to some other devotee and then some other devotee and try and take good points from everybody. And personally, we have our kavach around by we doing our Shravan and Kirtan wonderfully and properly. But at the same time, our Shravan and Kirtan is not for finding fault with others or looking down upon them that, how come they are engaging in gossip and I am not. As His Holiness Niranjan Swami Maharaj always tells in his classes that everybody is in the line to wash the hands. It's just that you may have washed your hand. So you cannot look behind and say, look, his hand is dirty. He's also in the queue and you are done. And the next, he is also going to wash his hands. So everybody is in that line. And ultimately, eventually, everybody is going to become a pure devotee. It's just that somebody is in the queue, somebody is in the up front in the queue, somebody is in the back. So look at everybody with that kind of compassion. At the same time, to protect your Krishna consciousness, stay away from gossips, because gossips just pull you down. They don't do you any much favor or help in progressing in Krishna consciousness. Either you end up doing Vaishnava Aparadha or simply wasting your time. So we can always keep ourselves a little distance, as you said, politely, and somehow, excuse yourself and not waste your time.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Thank you. Much appreciated. People always say that in a community, those Prabhujis or Matadjis like Hare Krishna Mataji, Hare Krishna, very polite, don't talk too much others. They call them, oh, he's very humble, she's very humble. So exact meaning, what's that meaning? Like that, I'm a very louder person, like that. But I think what's meaning of this thing, like why the people say that those are the soft spoken, they call them the humble and they have very humility like that. So what's the exact meaning or their symptoms? What's that, Mataji?
Can I give you a homework? This is anyway a Bhakti Vaibhav course that you are doing. I've given a 2 hours class on what is humility. So that's your homework. So before you come to the class tomorrow, tell me what are the points you like. What's your name?
My name is Ramya Sita.
Okay, Ramya Mataji, I look forward. Just type what is humility. And you put my name. I think that's a class. Yadupati, can you just check it once and tell me if that is a class? What's humility and tolerance? So I think I spoke 2 hours on that, because humility is the highly misunderstood word in ISKCON community. And people have their own definitions. So there I've spoken for 2 hours, which I don't want to tell you in 2 minutes, and then you will say, okay, I got my answer. Then it is like I tell you the climax of the movie, then you don't want to see the movie, so I won't tell you the answer. Is that the one? Humility. What is humility and tolerance? Yeah, that's a class. What is humility and tolerance? It's in English. And hear the whole thing, and then tomorrow you can just give us 4 to 5 points for the whole class to hear tomorrow. Thank you so much. Next question.
Just one more thing, Mataji, today you told in a program of Bharat that avoid certain angry, and I thought never I will not do any drama participation anymore. But today you told that I am attached with means attachment is seva also. So I feel like yes, that was attachment. Thank you so much for this word or the lecture you gave that one. Thank you.
So now you can ask forgiveness to your mentor, and next Rath Yatra you must do the drama. Yeah.
Krishna consciousness we saw that putting restrictions, and then we become so much clumsy that we for this song, the devotees don't tend to respect the people of other faith, and it becomes quite difficult. So, what are your thoughts on this?
Okay, now so you were holding your mic for some time and then in between you gave up, so I missed the point, but I think you are trying to say that in Krishna consciousness one is a sadhu supposed to look at everybody with the equal vision. So where did Bharata Maharaj go wrong when he was equally taking care of the deer? So yeah, that's what we discussed today at length, that there was nothing wrong, his compassion was completely all right, and it would have been expected from anybody who is a sadhu to have compassion for the deer, but at the same time he was supposed to balance his sadhana, because just like if you're just like in the airport or in the airlines, when you are flying, they say first you wear your oxygen mask and then you help others. So it's completely nice to help others. Definitely you must help others. But if you don't wear your oxygen mask, then you may die. That's what happened. Like he was helping the deer, but he didn't wear his mask. So he lost his Krishna consciousness. If he would have wore his mask and helped the deer, both he and the deer would have gone back home, back to Godhead. If he would have remembered Krishna while the time of death, and even the deer would have been purified by simply meditating on Bharata Maharaj, who is a pure devotee of the Lord. Today, why do we appreciate Srila Prabhupada so much? Because we are meditating on Prabhupada and Prabhupada is meditating on Krishna. In fact, in the one of the Prabhupada memory book I was reading, that one Mataji asked, Prabhupada, I love you so much and I only think about you, and simply thinking about you, can I go back home, back to Godhead? Prabhupada had his eyes closed and for 2 minutes and then he said, yes. So that means, because Mataji must be thinking about Srila Prabhupada, but Srila Prabhupada is thinking about Krishna. So yes, ultimately she'll go back home, back to Godhead with Srila Prabhupada. So it's like that. If Bharata Maharaj would have thought about Krishna, even the deer would have get chance to go back home, back to Godhead. So yes, compassion is good, but we also have to be healthy. In fact, I'm just reminded of this very wonderful doctor. I'm just forgetting his name now. But he was helping so many patients during the COVID, and he died because he didn't wear his mask properly. So he could have helped more people if he would have wear it properly. So Bharata Maharaj could have helped so many others if he would have maintained his sadhana and compassion, a proper balance. Okay? Next question.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, 3 A's to bring that sadhana. What was the last A you said?
Aspiration. A is alert, to be alert. A is alert. Next A was association. And third A was to have the right aspiration. So sometimes you may be alert, sometimes you may be in association, but you don't even have an aspiration to go back home, back to God. Then who can help you? Just like you see the lady in the Chaitanya Leela, she gets up on Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's shoulder to see Jagannath, and Govinda tries to stop him, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, but look at her. It's that kind of, that desire, that aspiration she has to look at Jagannath. So yeah, we have to have the right aspiration also. Yes. What's your next question? Sorry, I interrupted you.
My friend newly came to Krishna consciousness. So when she came in Krishna consciousness, she started watching the toy forms of Radha, Krishna, Gauranga, and Nityananda, toy form. So later I said her that in scriptures it's written that we should worship Ashtadhatu or in frame form. Like a devotee said to her that we should follow in Ashtadhatu or in frame form. That toy form is not mentioned in the scriptures, but she was as attached to that toy form. She was like, how can I engage them with frames or something? Am I doing an aparad or like something? So how to, say her like, it's not that.
So don't say anything. Let her just continue if she is able to. Krishna is everywhere. And, it's not that, it's not a temple where we follow all the Agama Puranas and Agama Shastras and, this has to be done in this way. She's just having a spontaneous love for the Lord, and there's nothing wrong in that. Even if whatever that toy she has, and if she's loving, just like Mirabai had a love for Krishna. So there's nothing particularly wrong in that. See, there are different ways to approach people. Those who are new in Krishna consciousness, we don't start quoting from Puranas and scriptures and try to correct them. For now, we simply allow them to continue their interest in Krishna in whatever form it is and keep helping them to keep the flame on. Then slowly, as they get more and more attached, then we can help them refine their mode of worship or what they think about how to deal with Krishna, but not in the beginning stage, because when you asked your question, you said she is new in Krishna consciousness. So because the fact that she is new, you don't say anything. In fact, Srila Prabhupada in the beginning days gave Gaur Nitai worship to those people who were eating non-veg. And Prabhupada said, no, they're just happy dolls, you can keep them, that's all right. But now we will not give Gaur Nitai to somebody who is eating non-veg. We will never do that in ISKCON. But in the beginning days, there were so many concessions given. So when somebody is coming new in Krishna consciousness, don't start with don't. Start with where we agree. Start with what we agree and she agrees, and we start with that where we are on the same page, and start with that so that she feels more happy to converse with you. If you start prescribing to her, now you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that, she may not even like to associate. So for the fact that she is new, just appreciate her for whatever she is doing, and she'll feel so inspired to come back to you again. That this girl, she inspires me so much. She's always appreciating, because people want that, they hanker for that, they crave for that somebody says, yes, you're doing well. Why is this Facebook and Insta and all gaining so much popularity? Because of that inner urge of people to be validated. I am, somebody is appreciating, somebody sends me a like, somebody. So people want that. That's a natural human So just make her feel happy. Oh, you're doing good. At least she's not having some some other cartoon, Chota Bheem or whatever, Doraemon. At least she's having Krishna. So that's all right.
So about the scriptures, as it's written that it's worship later, so it's okay for now that to worship that or worship that. I know that devotees were saying that you can praise or that Ashtadhatu are worshipable, like whatever she's offering and to that toy form will be more valuable to the Ashtadhatu in that way.
No, even in the toy form also Krishna will accept her offerings. Even if she has no form and she thinks about it in the mind also, Krishna take it, then Krishna will take it. So whatever, wherever, in whatever situation, if we remember Krishna and think, definitely he'll accept.